Welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast with author Sarah F. Hathaway and co-host Chen Gibson. Blending survival, fiction, and fact to bring you entertaining education that will help you dream, survive, and thrive. And now, here's your host, Sarah F. Hathaway and Chen Gibson.
Hello, and welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast. This is episode number 418. Hey, Chen, what's up?
Oh, my goodness. Am I just getting rested up? Chin's up, y'all.
Just getting rested up. That is not a doubt. I've had some
So I just pulled up my steps for the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Uh-huh.
And I did almost 50,000 steps on those 3 days total.
The hill, man. The hill.
And that includes the time I spent on the golf cart.
Yeah, cruising around on the golf cart.
I was on the golf cart part of the time, so geez Louise, I am tired.
I was on the golf cart this year more than any other year. Paul was like...
You're becoming a celebrity now.
Yeah, I know. Paul's like, did you know that's for the elderly and the disabled? I'm like, I can walk with a limp if you want me to.
I know.
Yeah. What's that say about Chin? That's all I'm saying right now. So, if you guys didn't know, we just got done with Prepper Camp 2023. We didn't have a live podcast from Prepper Camp this year. Phil
did.
Well, yeah, but not like our group one like we normally do. Phil is just so busy. So, he's got a lot of great video. Going around on Rumble. If you go over to the Matter of Facts podcast, check that out. Support Phil. He plays Virgis in our audio drama, so much love to Phil, and he does some great stuff. So I didn't get a chance to even get over there and do an interview. I was just so busy.
Yeah, I saw people talking to him all the time.
Yeah. Oh, he was...
Every time I do by.
He was booked up. He was hoping it was going to lay off on Sunday, and then I saw it just light up even more. Usually he's out first thing on Monday morning, even before I wake up, and I saw him still there lagging even on Monday morning. So I know he was a busy man.
He's got a huge playlist of interviews that he posted. Huge.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Gives you a feel of what you missed if you didn't go, so you can get your tickets for next year.
Yes. Get them early. And then as soon as you get them, we've got the inside scoop here. So as soon as you get them, you've got to get your reservation at the campground. It's don't leave that part out, right?
Because honestly, it's the whole experience. It's not just the classes or the vendors. It's the whole. You got to be on site the whole weekend because it's an awesome experience.
It is. It is. And if you're out my way, I know Garden Girls over there in our chat. If you're out our way, we leave and drive out and maximize it so the kids miss minimum amount of school. So if you need some advice on that or you want a caravan out there, we're always open to that experience as well. It does involve one night of sleeping in a parking lot. So
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Safer.
Either this year we made it just to Birmingham, Alabama, the other side of Birmingham, and then drove in from there the next morning. So, such a rewarding experience. I got to meet Doug, L. Douglas Hogan. We've been friends for 7 years. He does book design, cover design for me and stuff, and never got to meet him. And got to meet him out there. JB's in the chat room. Got to meet JB in person this year. It was just meeting long lost family members that I had didn't know I was lacking in my life. But now I know it. I'm kind of sad. I'm
your family keeps growing.
I know. We got to get more centrally located, I think. So we're just...
Wouldn't it be a blast if it was more than just one day a year or one weekend a year?
Right? That's what I was saying. Work should be 1 weekend a year, and then Prepper Camp should be the rest. Oh,
goodness.
so much fun though. Just not only fun, but always a learning experience. So we're gonna kind of walk through some of that today and tout it and all the great things.
It charges your soul, man. It's just so good to go there.
It does. I feel like fulfilled for the next year now. We missed Dave Jones, wasn't out there. Big hit that hurt. I'm like missing him. Like I'm seriously like, okay, when are you coming on the podcast? Because we got to get our Dave
DJ in our life.
Yeah. So I'm thinking we got a couple of great shows coming up that he could be a part of. Maybe even the community leadership we got coming up, things like that. Yep. So we'll get him penciled in and get him on the show.
We need his bad. We need his bad dad jokes, man.
I know. Where does he keep his jokes? In his database. Yeah. So,
although the Hathaway boys actually kept me laughing most of the weekend. So.
Yeah, we're always good for.
They were dropping them left and right.
Good ribbon on Chin every time he drives by. So, yeah, no, I just seriously can't explain to you guys. And not only all of everybody at Prepper Camp that puts on the event has become my family. And then I get to see everybody from Prepper Broadcasting Network who've all become my family.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We're all,
and then now, we've camped next to the same people and across from the same people for so many years. They've all become my family now, too. And, we're keeping in touch this time. Yeah. This year, I was like, we are staying in touch. I'm not just leaving you guys for a year till I get to see you next year. Right. So more friends from Kentucky, friends from Alabama, great friends from Michigan. I go up there and go hang out with them. Actually, Ella is going to be on the audio drama. So I recruited another fellow Michigander. She's related to Andrew Bobo, who plays on there. So,
nice.
Yeah, yeah. So
it was good to see Andrew there because we missed him last year.
I know.
Got to talk with him. Wow.
Yeah,
it wasn't Fender row. It was Prepper Broadcasting row because y'all were lined up the whole. It was James was there. Disaster Coffee and Jay Fergie was there, and Tuba and Tim. The whole group of you were all right there in a row.
We own that section.
Awesome.
Yeah, we definitely own that section.
You own lakefront property, man.
We did. We did. That's for sure. So, no.
It was awesome.
And that's why I say, it's just so cool to have that experience. All the awesomeness of a family reunion without the family. Pretty much, without the blood family, I'll say, So, no, I'm even talking about bringing my mom out next time. She really wants to come out. Yeah. So, that'll be interesting.
That reminds you of Brad, 5 Times August.
Yeah.
He was last year, he had such a good time, he wanted to bring his family, and he did. He was a man of his word. There's wife and kids in tow. They showed up.
Oh, man, Christian and his boys were just hanging out and having so much fun. They were doing their whittling on their sticks and using their knives and
that's a big whittle stick.
Yeah, they were just stoked out of control. So I found it in the refrigerator when we got home. I was like, "What is your whittle stick doing in the refrigerator?"
That's funny.
All right, a little bit of Change in Earth news before we just keep breaking down Prepper Camp. We're not doing Burgess this week, obviously, because we're just going to do some Prepper Camp. And then we got...
Because we hung out with Burgess and Swenson all weekend.
I know. Oh, and... Okay. And I got Swenson the whip. I got Doug a whip. It was a great gag. This kid... This guy, well, he's a giant, but I call him a kid because he was like a kid in a candy store. Christian gave it to him.
We heard he was on site, so we commandeered a golf cart and chased him down. Jump in, sir, let's go.
Yeah, let's go find him. So we give him the whip. His eyes are like as big as saucers. He takes that thing out. It's like he's done it forever, man. He's like whipping paper plates off of the tree and then hitting them in the air and stuff. I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. That's eerie. For those of you who don't
Is
know,
he carving initials in people's backs?
he was in the tree. TJ into the tree. I was like, no way, dude. So, yeah. It was insanity that went down like that. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, L. Douglas Hogan plays TJ Swenson in the audio drama. That's why he's a whip fighter in the audio drama, so that's why it kind of rings a little bit true. Big news as far as the audio drama goes for subscribing members to my podcast. You can listen to episode, oh my gosh, because I'm working on one right now. Episode 5 is up commercial free, 1 week early access for subscribing members that are, supporting members on my website. You got to pay me a little bit of money, but you get access to all kinds of backdoor goodies. And that's one of the perks is you get a week commercial free listening to the audio drama. And then the episode 5 is officially coming out for everybody on Thursday, which should be October 5th if I have my brain on straight, which is questionable right now. So, but that is coming out Thursday. So, the Changing Earth audio drama does have its own podcast channel. So look in your favorite podcast listening mechanism, whatever app you use, just look for the Changing Earth audio drama, and you'll find the actual audio drama, which is separate from the podcast that you're listening to now. So, episode 5 is coming out, and I'm serious. There is some really awesome scenes coming up, so you got to listen to it. In particular, I don't want to give any spoilers, so just start listening, and then after it airs, I can talk about them and whatnot, but there's some good ones coming up. And then Brad from 5 Times August, his music is just laden in there. Yes, there's some other bands, so it's not just him, but great music. And I can't say enough how proud I am of these episodes coming out. So everybody's worked so hard on it. All of the Prepper broadcast community work hard on it. JB just rocking the audio. They sound great this time. So not that they didn't before, but it's just she gives it that golden touch that makes them just that much better. So thanks to everybody who works on it. And episode 5 releases on the 5th, so that's easy to remember. All right, that's the business we got to take care of. So let's jump back into prepper camp. 58 classes this year. Every day. I did the math. I was like, holy smokes.
Did you sharpen your pencil?
I did. I had to get my calculator out. 58 classes. They had spectacular homesteading classes, beekeeping, getting off grid, blacksmithing, the restoring cast iron. I needed to do that class.
He's awesome. Neil?
Oh, is that who put it on?
Awesome. Yeah.
Maybe we get him on the podcast. I was thinking we should just start hitting up the prepper camp lineup and getting everybody that does classes there to come and do a show.
We need to get Taylor from Ridge Road, the Blade.
Oh, yeah. You were already telling me about that one. Yeah, the knife guy.
Man, he was a great guy.
And that really works anywhere. Yep. I mean, in any of our episodes with Burgess. So.
Oh yeah. Just, they were awesome. They were here 2 years ago, and then they missed out last year. I don't know what there was missed singles.
Does he do the blacksmithing class too?
No, that's.
Okay, that's a different Andrew, guy. He brought his whole family this time.
And he's awesome too. So Andrew, my very first year at camp, at the end of camp, my car wouldn't start.
Oh no!
I was I didn't know anybody that first year. I was meeting people. So and he was 3 campsites down, and he came and rescued me. He came and jump started my car for me.
That's cool.
So Andrew, he's an awesome guy.
Yeah, I got to meet his family. Awesome. Everybody was so appreciative that I was handing out whistles to all the kids. Yeah. They loved it so much. The dads, I could just see their eyes just light up with joy over that one. Enjoy the car ride home.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Rick does his secret livestock class there, which, we do have a podcast of Rick giving us that class. But, when you're there in person, to be able to ask all the questions that you want to ask, and then, like, Rick's just hanging out around there, so you can go up and talk to him.
He did do one on getting a firearm ready for predators and stuff.
I know. I so should have done that. But I was so busy, honestly, this time. I was so busy this time. So we're going to get into a little bit of that as well. But wilderness survival. So we had the mushroom class. I'm just picking a few of them, guys. There was 56 of them. So I'm not going to go through all of them. Or what? 58. 58. Yeah. So I'm not going to go through all of them. But wilderness survival, they did the mushroom class. The gentleman that always does the primitive wilderness, I'm legitimately going to get him on the podcast this time. He's the coolest guy. He's there like every year.
The foraging guy?
Yeah.
Richard Clinton.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He's no joke, man. He knows like
everything. I swear. And like whatever environment you took him into, he would like know that one too. Because that's hard.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. Just like a walking encyclopedia.
Yeah. And then they did a primitive wilderness class and then the wild foraging. And that was cool that Mary Ellen. Elizabeth. Mary Elizabeth was there.
Tanning.
Yeah, with the tanning and had the whole deer hide right there for people to be working on.
Well, she was the one that got bit by a rattlesnake?
Yeah, she got bit by a rattlesnake. Yeah. She was still there last year. Even though she had been bit by the rattlesnake, she died. They brought her, like she came back. That's
quite the journey.
Yeah, that's an interesting experience to talk to her about. She was happy to have the whistle. She's like, whoa, if I would have had this, they would have found me a lot faster.
You're supposed to blow a whistle so you don't have to walk or run, blow a whistle for help.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. And they were nice, loud whistles. And honestly, guys, just look for like wilderness survival whistles on Amazon. You'll find some great stuff. I mean, it's good stuff. So
I don't have to. I have one now.
Yeah, you got yours. And then, when Rick, even during the Saturday meeting, was like, "Thank you for giving Ken a rape whistle," I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
He was like a little kid with that thing.
Oh, I know. Toot toot. He's driving around. Toot toot. That was great. Lots of defense stuff, home defense, area intelligent. Mike was there. I always know him by Samuel Culper. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Mike for Forward Observer.
For Forward Observer. Awesome. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he gave me like a signed book and stuff. That was cool. So I traded him out one. Of course.
That class and his book is no joke. I mean, everybody should read his book because it's no joke.
Yeah.
It teaches about the important stuff of knowing the area around you. I mean, we all worry about EMPs and all this stuff, but actually knowing your neighborhood and your community is probably the most important where you need to start. And that's kind of what he teaches.
Right. And some people are like, oh, I didn't know there was a dam up there, right up there. I didn't know there was like a nuclear storage facility right over there, even though there's not a nuclear plant. Right.
Oh, they shipped that on that train track?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in Vegas, they ship tons of nuclear waste right by Vegas. So, I mean, it's really important to know that stuff. And then, of course, Hakeem there.
Yep.
Psychological warfare. He's been on the podcast, too. You can go back and look and hear from Hakeem. And he does some really cool stuff. And then, of course, I teach self-defense there. And then I did avoiding abduction and a sexual violation class. We'll jump into that a little bit in a minute.
2 other crucial classes everybody should be taking.
Yep. Yeah. That we'll jump into that in a minute. And then as far as medicine, there was a lot of medicine classes there this year.
For your pets?
The herbal animal care.
Something. Yeah, herbal animal care. That's a great addition to your toolkit, right?
It is, because that's one thing I started thinking about. I was talking about it once with James Hart. We were talking about, what happens when the animals get sick. And he was like, there's a whole, myriad of herbs that you need to know for them, too, because they can't always take the same things we can.
Yeah, my wife loved that class. She actually got in touch with her. She's super good.
Oh,
Super
right on.
nice lady.
Okay. Then we're going to just have Rhonda on and her on.
Right.
Be like, okay, Chin, taking the night off, buddy.
Yeah. See how to walk the dog.
How to use herbs, the trauma tools. The colloidal silver guy is always there. He's really good.
Jonathan again. And he does the mushroom.
Yeah, he does the mushroom class.
He makes that stuff. He's awesome.
Yeah, which is amazing in and of itself and so cool. Like, where does he live? Because we need to be close to him in post-apocalyptic times.
Oh, we know.
So I thought
I had an injury on the job site this week and used some of his colloidal silver to help sanitize.
Yeah, I actually cut my finger open. I was cleaning the trash can.
Ooh.
And I didn't realize that, like, under the pedal is super sharp, and it, like, sheared through my finger. Yeah. So, yeah, I was putting the silver on there. So,
yep.
It's good stuff. Colloidal silver. And you would not know these things if you didn't go to prepper camp. Wow. Yep. Or study it, pretty hard.
Heck, we even had a electric bike guy, the e-bike guy.
Yeah, the e-bike guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, a little bit how to change like a DIY e-bike.
Your e-bike. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Brian Duff was out there though too from
that was good
from Mine for Survival.
Way too long.
Yeah. Always good to see Brian, and then of course Forrest was out there. I don't know that we've ever had Forrest on the show. I don't think I have. I just met him at tons of places, so I can't point my listeners to past episodes with him. Forrest does
PrepperNet.
Thank you, PrepperNet. So it's on MeWe and Facebook. You can check out the PrepperNet groups, and they do.
Yeah, it's like a way of finding preppers in your area without like.
Butch was talking about coming out to meet me, but I did not see him.
Oh no, he's awesome.
My friend Carrie, who lives down in Houston, she came all the way out there. She said hello to me at the booth like once, and then she disappeared. I was like, "Where did you go?" She's like, "You're so busy."
Did you not say there was 56 classes?
Yeah, it's true.
Wonder where she was.
Yeah, exactly. Fair enough. There's just so much. Not only are we busy, but yeah, everything else is busy. But the cool thing about prepper camp is like you can literally come and find us at nighttime and like hang out. If you're at,
that's why I said you got to stay on site.
You got to be at the campground, right? So all my listeners that are going to prepper camp next year, as soon as you get your ticket, you get your reservation at Orchard Lake Campground in Saluda, North Carolina, okay? Because leave that piece out.
No way. The campground cannot hold all the people that get tickets.
There's like 2,000 attendants coming into prepper camp, and there's not that many campsites. I mean, I don't know how many exactly there are, but there's definitely not that many. Yeah. So
I know we kind of rule the campground, though. It's kind of like all us.
Yeah. Everybody was working there, and everybody
was with seasonal people, and then the rest is all us.
Yep. Yeah. Well, they're closed down. They literally closed the campground.
Yep.
Jane was talking about that, about like why it is the time of year that prepper camp is, and it's because it's right after they close down for the wintertime. That next week is when prepper camp comes in, so that way it's only people for prepper camp there. Makes it into and then your people who stay there all year round. So okay, so I made a list of like my 5 biggest takeaways. So in no particular order, because I think they're all important. So friendships made along the way is definitely like huge, right? You get to see all your old friends from PBN and everybody who runs prepper camp. I've been friends with all you guys for so long.
It turns like the cyber friends into like real flesh and blood friends.
Yes. Yeah.
Like you and I knew each other for years, right? Years.
Like,
and then we finally met at camp.
Yeah. Like really well too.
Really.
You know?
I mean, because I was a reader and a listener forever. And then your horn show. And then we've been friends that whole, what's it, 200 shows or over 200 shows.
Yep.
And we finally met at camp.
Yeah.
Same with James. Same with Dave.
Same. Yeah. Well, Jane told me one time. Jane was like, Sarah, don't you be one of those people who says that you're going to come meet me and you never do. And at that point, I was like, okay, I am on a mission. I'm going to get there no matter what. And it was a little bit more difficult from the West Coast to come out there with my books and everything. You know, that's a big undertaking. But from here in Texas, it's only a 15-hour drive.
Yeah, JB and Ryan.
Yep.
Heck, Toolman comes from Canada.
Yeah, right? So, I know. And he brings
over.
Stuff with him. Like, it's more challenging when you have to put up a booth and all of that, you know.
Yeah.
The only time I flew for an event, like, I didn't have to bring in my own table and my own, like, easy up and all that, right? All I had to do was worry about shipping books in, and I could run the event from there. So there's a lot of gear to bring in. But that's cool, too, because, like, I wouldn't be able to, you know, we get gifts and stuff that you can't fly home with. I always have to ship them back to Ryan for them. And speaking of Ryan, if you're listening, I'm going to do that. So, yeah, we got really cool hatchets as a speaker gift this year. It was really awesome. We got double hatchets. Yeah, because, you know, it was a rough year as far as financially goes. So the more that the community can rally behind Prepper Camp and really support what they do, maybe give donations, that kind of thing, the better, because it was a really rough year for them. And so we really kind of stepped up to help market it out for them and make sure it was going to be a success. And so I got 2 hatchets. So I was Sarah Hatchetway.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That sounds like a t-shirt.
I know, right? I was like, Sheila's done for, Doug. So, yeah, friends, then community. Oh, my gosh. The Saturday meeting. So, if you go to Prepper Camp, everybody, like, well, a lot of people go to the Saturday night shindig that we put on, but some people don't and, like, have never been. Phil has, like, never been. I was like, what? That is like the best time. It's an award ceremony for the speakers, but also like they give away prizes to the attendees. So pay attention.
This was like a 3-act show.
Yeah.
It was the award ceremony, that it was a live concert, and that it was a keynote speaker. It was like
it's really good. Bring your butt pad for your chair where you're sitting. You know, you'll be there a while, right?
Yeah, because these are just rented folding chairs.
Yeah, so you know,
it's not theater seat.
Yeah, bring a little cushy or a little blanket or something you can sit on, right? But it is a blast. And then we had the balloon debacle of 2023. So.
I thought I was at some like beach concert.
Right? So everybody was blowing up balloons, and then we were kicking them all around. It was so awesome. Well, I gotta preface this a little bit more. So the balloons start going. We're all having fun hitting the balloons. I look over at Rick, and he's just scowling. Who's scowling? Right. I'm like, we're gonna be in trouble.
Camp counselor was getting stink eye.
Camp counselor was stink eye. So I'm like, maybe I should start popping some. And Brock's
I liked what he did though.
Yeah, to everybody
how
stop
he brought
him.
it to a conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Now on the count of 3, pop them all at once."
That was the worst synchronization ever, by the way. It was just pop, 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 pop. So no, but to look across that crowd. And I'm talking people of all ages. I don't care how young, how old. Everybody's smiling and hitting the balloons. And it was really, really cool to see something like that. So much togetherness, so much just everybody in great spirits and having fun. And just wholesome goodness, too, you know. And then when Brad came on and played, and then he talked about, you know, he's been around the world this year. This is Brad.
Literally.
From 5 times August. So, yeah, very literally. And he was talking about how not alone we are. You know, that you might sit at home and do your podcast and, you know,
I think it's an American thing. But
right. Yes. And
these other countries are going... Like, people come up to him in other countries just like we do and say, and share similar stories.
Yes. And
which
that
actually kind of makes you feel better.
It does.
You know,
I think the
because they
people
always
are
try
all
to
on the
divide
same
us,
page.
right?
Exactly.
But we really are a common. It's humanity.
Yep.
Right?
And nobody wants to go to war, and everybody wants to feed each other. And, it's just the leadership, trying to play dice with money and things like that to get themselves in better position. It's just the greed of, some people that,
And for them to get their end game on, that they need to get us all divided into Team A, Team B, Team C, because they can't. If we all are together, then they can't play these silly reindeer games.
Exactly. So that was so uplifting. It was so good to hear.
Good insight.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then, next on my list was my inspirations. So I've been teaching. I've been teaching at prepper camp for quite a while now, and two of the most special stories to me. One gentleman who always worked on a yacht, and so he worked sailing and things like that. And his mom got sick; he had to come off the boat, and because of watching me teach and things like that, he decided that's what he wanted to do. And so now he's a pistol instructor and doing like first aid, CPR, and all those kind of classes as well. And it was really cool to see like that ripple effect that you can have once you just, step out of your box and start sharing with people and, take that step to help others. So how that will affect somebody else, and then they affect so many other people, right? So that was really cool. And then because I've been teaching self-defense so long there at prepper camp, I had an older couple who came up to me, and there was this gentleman that was out of control, and he waited for her husband to come out of the building. And they got into it. The husband was okay, was kind of winning the fight, but he went to walk away, and he had just had knee surgery and blasted his knee open. And so now this guy is like kicking her husband in the head, and she gets out of her car, and like her, I tell people, your self-defense is about your mindset. I mean, most of it is about how you are in your mind. You're going to rule the day, And she was just like a wildcat, came at this guy, and it was backing him up. That provided enough time for help to get there. And it was really special that she, had taken that from my class and was able to help her husband, and it didn't turn into a really bad situation. So that was really neat, really neat.
Well, yeah, it's cool to hear the stories of, you're not just up there,
spewing it out. And not making a difference.
It's actually being taken out into the world and used.
Yes, and that's so special. And so with the new class that I'm teaching, I'm going to start doing seminars for people. I'm going to try and set up like little tours for this class. It's the anti-kidnapping and sexual assault class. And I'm going to try to start setting up little tours that I can do. I've already got an invite to come back to North Carolina. So if you're listening and you're in North Carolina and you'd like me to come to that area, please let me know, because I already have one. And so the more I can stack up in that area, then that helps pay for my... I
always want you back in North Carolina, Sarah.
No, but that would help me pay. Like, all I need is the travel expenses, right? I don't want to make any money or anything. I just have to make sure that I'm not missing time from work. Like, I'm getting paid for time that I miss from work, and that I can travel out there. So I wouldn't want to profit or anything, because I don't want anybody to not have access to this information. And my classes will be up on my website next week, just so everybody knows, because I've been getting so nagged about when, can I get your slides? When's your video going to be posted? That kind of thing. So everybody just hang on. It's going to be there. We're putting it up on the internet. And then if you want me to come out and do that. But teaching this vital information, I never realized like how I know the information. I know how to teach people. I know how to talk about it, but I didn't realize what that was, the emotional impact it was going to have on me when I actually put that in motion. So that was something, I had to take a deep breath, and there was a few times I wanted to actually cry, like delivering this information. You can't cry in front of people. I'm really good at public speaking. So that was something I didn't see coming. to do that class. I sit behind a microphone a lot of times. And then also the amount of stories that people told me afterwards. And, God, you guys, it just rips your heart out. And to know that, this could be your kid. This could be, the neighbor's kid. This is so prolific that, the sexual assault on people, and then also they're getting abducted and things like that. And I didn't really think through that aspect of it too, of like, how many stories people are going to share with me. And I would say, a good 10 people coming up to me out of each class talking about it and about personal experiences, whether it happened to them or, their nephew or whatever. And so it's really, really important that we raise awareness. And when we're doing God's work, Satan's going to be at the door trying to stop us so he can have his way. So it's definitely not going to stop me. I'm going to keep sharing. I'm going to keep talking because this is a huge problem. The child porn, all of that we really need to tackle because our children are not for sale and our children are not going to be treated that way. So there's I get emotional every time. It's a tough topic, but it's really important that we share it. So I'm going to have that video up. And then if you want me to come do seminars, it would be a 2-hour thing because I would do both classes back to back, do the anti-kidnapping and then the anti-kidnapping sexual assault. And then we would do the self-defense class. So we have some tools to be able to protect ourselves and things like that. So reach out. Like I say, I already have some in North Carolina, so I got to just put together like a schedule to make that happen for you guys. Okay, from there, special memories that can never be replaced. Prepper camp, time with the family, if you don't take it now while you can, you won't get it back. Time with your loved ones, things like that. So, the schools always get mad for taking the kids out and stuff like that. It's like, whatever. This is way more valuable than any of that.
But we know people that have seen other people from work and school and their communities at camp.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my son's 6th grade teacher was here,
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot. And you know what? A lot of times it's like Saturday, or, sitting down and having lunch with people that you met at camp or dinner, with people, like just sharing a meal with people that you've met at camp.
Yep.
It's amazing the conversations you have.
I hardly have to bring my own food anymore. I'm not even kidding. Like people are just like, oh, I was actually double booked. Like people were, I think I upset someone. I'm serious. Because they're like, oh, we want you to come over for dinner. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I already told somebody else. And then my friend's like, well, when you're trying to get Sarah over to your campfire, you got to ask a lot earlier in the day than that. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Maybe I should be your meal agent and I'll book your meals for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Line me up before I even get to camp.
Sure, you have snacks at 3.
Yeah. I was like, oh my goodness.
Heavy hors d'oeuvres at 4:30.
I know. All I have to bring is lunch, I swear. Because, yeah. Other than that, I was like, why do we even pack dinner anymore? Actually, because we always get invited, especially to the Michigan, and our friends that we've met from Michigan, Andrew Bobo's family, great people, and they're so awesome. And so I always feel bad because they're always feeding us so much when we're there. So I made a big dish of pesto pasta, right, to take over to there when we got there on Thursday so that we could share, and have a big dish for them. And I was yelling up there. I'm like, you guys want pesto pasta? And they thought I was saying possum pasta. And they're like, what are you bringing up here?
You didn't drive the highway. You could have picked some up along the way.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, no.
Killed, rolled it up.
They didn't even flinch. That's the thing. So, like, yeah, got me some roadkill. Come on up. So, and then also the safe environment that Prepper Camp provides. So, we're in an environment where we can make mistakes and be corrected by our mentors in a safe environment, So, I'm not going to go like into details on specific mistakes. There could have been a drinking incident involving one of my children, but the older one. But you're in a safe environment where people would protect you instead of inject you with a drug and leave you on a ditch somewhere. So I'm not saying that was
or like there's no Karens to like just get in your face if you say
the wrong thing.
Whatever's on.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a family environment, so he did get correction for behavior, but I'd rather, it's not like a party scene, so you got to like know your limits, and he's at the age where he's experimenting with the limits, so we definitely had that conversation, but, you have a safe environment. And also, in my class, I was talking about, children 12 and up. That's the riskiest time, actually, is 12 and up, because you start allowing them to do things on your own. And we let Christian, go up to the office by himself one morning. And Rick was like, hey, Sarah, just letting him walk on up here all by himself, huh? Like somebody could have just into the woods, He might say, yeah, it's okay for me to do that. But as the adult that he should have somebody with him to be there. And I was like, yep, that's exactly what and it's just because, you feel so safe at Prepper Camp. But because I would never, ever do that outside of that environment. But still, you just never know, right? So it was a good learning experience, good lesson for me as well. And here I'm teaching the class, So it's nice to have mentors. We all make mistakes. We all do things that, you don't think about it in the moment. And then that could be the moment when it's over, a game changer, right? So it's really nice to have mentors to be able to give that corrective action without feeling like an a-hole, without feeling like you let somebody down or something like that. That's really important to me. So I love that about Prepper Camp. You're learning as much from everybody else around you as you are, instructors and things like that as well. So, yeah, learn a bunch. I mean, when you're teaching classes there, the information that the crowd has is astounding. You're just like, man, you guys are awesome. So everybody who attends, like, kudos to you too for being so awesome and knowing so much. So what about you? What was your major takeaway this year?
Sleep is
good.
Just so,
that's your takeaway every year, though. There has to be something unique about this year that, like.
No, honestly, every year it's the community. It's getting together with the people. I mean, I talk with y'all like all year long, right?
Right.
But it's just like being with family. It really is good for my soul when I go there.
Yeah.
And I volunteer, so like I'm doing a lot of the behind the stage just stuff, picking up trash, fixing mics, just doing stuff.
Yeah, messing up my computer situation.
But I always love to come strolling through the vendor area where everybody's set up. I always make a point to hang out and
see everybody.
Visit with you guys. It's just it's good for me.
All right, that's why it's so special to me as well.
Yeah, it's just good for me to be able to hang out. I mean, it's fun we send texts and we call each other on the phones. And the rest of the people, but it's not the same as being able to like laugh and razz on each other and give each other a hug. It's just being there in person. It's so good for me.
I agree.
That really is the the whole meaning of that weekend for me.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I know I was so bad this year I didn't make it to any of the classes except the ones I teach, but I still walk away with just like you say, everybody there is just like family, and now it's just a wonderful experience. So guys, you got to come out next year. Next year is your year. If you missed it this year, get excited and make it happen, because it's a good time. It's a really good time. Okay, how about we get into some Changing Earth news? We got about 15 minutes.
Music?
I'm going to cue it right now.
Nice.
All right, Changing Earth news. So I'm not going back 2 weeks because that would just be crazy sauce. And really it was Ophelia hitting. We were right there when Ophelia hit the coastline, but we didn't have anything on the western side of the mountains, really. We had great weather. So Ophelia didn't really hurt us too bad. But it did hit the rest of the East Coast pretty hard. As far as sun news today, we have small sunspots that are inbound. They are going to be Earth facing this week, so we need to keep our eyes on them. They are producing some M-class flares. There's also a large plasma filament that's Earth facing right now that we have eyes on to make sure that it stays stable, because none of that would be good for little old planet Earth. On the 24th, there was 402 earthquakes that were 2.0 or bigger, biggest of which was a 5.1 in the Indian Ocean. There was massive flooding in India again in Nagpur. Gosh, I just slaughtered that. Sorry to everyone from India that's listening in. That was horrible. They had to rescue 400 people from a school for speech and the hearing impaired because of that flooding. So big time situation over there. West Coast or East Coast saw a lot of flooding, power outages because of Ophelia. There was a 4.7 earthquake in Croatia and a 4.6 that hit Turkey again. Turkey could really use a break. So, they had the big one, and I'm sure it takes so much time, just like that episode when we did about how long it takes, FEMA and the government to pay out on those things for stuff to be rebuilt. It takes a while, so they really don't need anything else going on there. Central Oklahoma got pelted with hail in a thunderstorm. It was about 2-inch diameter. And then on the 25th, there was 396 earthquakes that were 2.0 or bigger, biggest of which was a 4.9 at Chin's favorite place,
South Sandwich Islands.
Yes, sir. It hit out in the South Atlantic Ocean, so no big deal there. Duluth, Minnesota. There's a big storm there. Lots of flooding going on. There was a 2.2 earthquake in Melbourne, Australia. My friend Ellen is home. We'll have to get her back on the podcast and get her doing some voices in the audio drama, but she is home and safe. Everything's good there. There's a 3.9 earthquake in Velma, Oklahoma. Tropical storm Philip was forming out in the Atlantic, and then there was another one that was right behind it, so we've been keeping eyes on this week. Iran's just been dealing with these dust storms, really bad dust storms. They're trying to figure out what to do about it. Sent another 2,000 people into the hospital on the 25th. There was a small tornado that hit South Dakota, and then on Sunday night, so this is 24th evening, there was a huge storm that came through Texas, hit central Texas the worst. My mama was saying it was pretty bad, though, here at our house. We were still over in North Carolina getting ready to drive home. But there was baseball-size hail in central Texas, like in the, in the Austin area, right? So all the cars that are in the parking lot, in the, for sale, car lots, and the rental car, they're all just hit, man. And solar panels, all that kind of stuff just got creamed. So, you can look forward to your auto insurance rates going up for that one in Texas. We've had a lot of it this year. And they're saying October we're supposed to see like a fair amount of tornadoes and hail, so I'll have to keep you guys posted on that. On the 26th, there was 408 earthquakes, or 2.0 or bigger, biggest of which was a 5.9 in the Philippine Sea near Indonesia. A 4.4 earthquake hit Pakistan. And then I had from one of the news reports that a 6.6 earthquake hit Davao in the Philippines. But I didn't see that one on the the USGS information. So usually I watch the volcanic website for earthquake information because it's a little bit more credible than the USGS even. But I didn't see that there either. So it's strange. I don't know. If somebody from the Philippines is listening, you could give me a little heads up on that one if a 6.6 did hit or not. In Jalisco, Mexico, 7 people died and 9 were missing on the 26th from massive flooding there. And then there was a bomb cyclone that came in, hit northwestern United States and also British Columbia area. Lots of rain coming into Oregon, Washington, and then British Columbia area. And Oregon really needs it. They still have a lot of fires burning there. So hopefully that helps put the fires out and moisten up that environment. Chicago had a dust storm. This dust storm caused a massive pileup on one of their highways that left 7 people injured. Hurricane Idalia, I know this was the old one. This is the one that hit Florida. It left $34 million bruise on the Florida shellfish producers because of damage from Idalia. So they're still doing cleanup work on that one. And that's another hit to our food supply. So that's why I always bring that kind of stuff up. Jacksonville, Florida had more flooding that left commuters stranded. And then South Africa, the Western Cape got just creamed by flooding. And at least 11 people died because of that flooding. 8 of them were electrocuted, including children were involved in that. So their electrical systems aren't the best set up over there. And so a lot of times when you have that flooding, electrocution comes with it. And so unfortunately, 8 people died due to electrocution. On the 27th, there was 392 earthquakes that were 2.0 or bigger, biggest of which was a 5.6 in the Indian Ocean by Indonesia. A 4.2 magnitude earthquake shook Italy's Campi Flegrei. I'm probably saying it wrong, but their Spanish is really good about sounding out words. So Campi Flegrei. I love Spanish for that reason. It's really easy to be able to speak it when you can see it. This is the biggest earthquakes they've had there in 40 years. It was 3 kilometers deep only. It was felt across Naples. This is a super volcano. Campi Flegrei is a super volcano that erupted about, last time it erupted was about 30,000 years ago. So it's big eyes on this volcano right now to make sure that we're not going to be dealing with a very bad situation. About 500,000 people live in that area and could be affected by that. I mean, the world would be affected by it if it really went off as a super volcano. But of course, those 500,000 people are very much in harm's way. So this is eyes on this situation. And I always review the volcano, when I have the numbers for you at the end, what volcanoes are lit up. And Campi Flegrei is on the showing unrest for volcanic alerts right now. So it's not just the earthquake that was going off. They are actively watching it for an eruption. So we got to just keep an eye on that. I certainly will be. On the 28th, there was 287 earthquakes that were 2.0 or bigger, biggest of which was a 6.1 in the Coral Sea near Vanuatu. Greece was hit with another round of flooding, and because of the wildfire activity that they had, and they had a couple years ago, the mud just came down and inundated everything. So they're literally building, or they're literally digging their roads, their houses out of the mud, which is a nightmare. Water does enough damage on its own. But when you literally have to dig your family room back out of mud, oh my gosh, nightmare. North Vietnam was hit with heavy rain and flooding. Tropical storm Rena was forming right behind Philip. And the UK was hit by Storm Agnes, which brought 80-mile-an-hour winds to the UK there. So that's hurricane force winds that came in with that. A 4.9 earthquake hit Djibouti in Africa. And Seattle, Washington, they have this new tree evidence that's showing that there was a major earthquake there 1,100 years ago. And it was actually two faults simultaneously erupting. And with the activity we've been seeing, they kind of raised the flag over concerns over that happening in the Seattle area. So if you're in that area...
How did they see it in the trees?
What? How do they see
You
it in the
said
trees?
it was evidence in it. Yeah.
The tree rings will show you. So like, I know in California, the Cascadia fault, they can see where this was like a mountain range. And then now it was on the coast. So that tree was actually petrified at that point when it got moved to an area where it could no longer sustain itself. So that's the same kind of things that they're doing up in Seattle with the actual marks from the rings, which is all really cool. Look it up. It's really interesting science. On the 28th, there was 287. Oh, no, wait. We're past that. You got me off track. Going into the science, I'm thinking tree rings now.
I was interested in the trees.
I know. It's a really cool article. They have a lot of really cool articles, and that one even made it onto Suspicious Observers. I had thrown it up to you the other day about the Seattle risk. I think I sent you that one. I know I sent it over to JB. So 3.9 earthquake just south of Crete hit. And then we were talking about how long it takes our country and FEMA and all that to get help. So the New Mexico residents are still waiting for their money from the $4 billion that Congress supposedly already set aside for them. And they haven't actually received yet. And I'm sure Lahaina's feeling the same way with trying to get some aid going. So also Tennessee, where they were hit so hard, they're supposed to be allotted money. So I think we have a lot of home fires to worry about without worrying about other aid. We'll just put it that way and stay with Changing Earth. On the 29th, there was 389 earthquakes that were 2.0 or bigger, biggest of which was a 5.5 in the South Pacific Ocean near Papua New Guinea. New York saw some massive flooding. New York flooding is becoming a norm. Honestly, I think that we'll probably lose that city to the waters eventually. But I'm sure it's a really fragrant place to be right now with all of the homeless issues and immigration issues that they're dealing with right now. So they did declare a state emergency in New York due to flooding, massive amounts of flash flooding. There was a 3.9 earthquake in southwestern Oklahoma. I always keep my eyes on those because of the New Madrid fault. That's a pretty big one to be happening. The activity at the super volcano in Italy was continuing. The drought in Europe is causing reserves of olive oil to deplete. So, all right, there's one you didn't really think about, like olive oil. So get that stocked up because I bet you those prices will go up before too long, like everything else. Canada's wildfires are still burning. They are defying the calendar. They have burned an area the size of 80% of Minnesota so far this year. It's crazy, right? Minnesota is a pretty big state, so that is pretty big. There is really cool pictures that we've captured of a dust devil on Mars. If you haven't seen that yet, check it out. Google the dust devil on Mars. It's pretty cool to see that one of NASA's rovers caught it, and it's pretty neat. FEMA is planning to do a national alert test system that will alert to all test phones or all cell phones on October 4th. So this is interesting that they're getting a national system together. They are saying that it's to warn us of the most severe weather alerts like very severe storms and things like that, all because of climate change, I'm sure. So, I guess we'll just wait till October 4th and see what happens, but we're supposed to have this new national alert system that can light up all the cell phones in America at once. Won't it be wonderful? On the 30th, there was 376 earthquakes that were 2.0 or bigger, biggest of which was a 5.8 in the Indian Ocean. There was a 4.7 earthquake in the Ferndale area, that's in Northern California. Greece is digging out their homes from the mud. Large hail fell in Barnesville, Minnesota. Big fire started in Colorado called the Iron Fire. It had burned 5,000 acres so far on the 30th. And then there's been lots of talk about how we're having a silver tsunami of elderly homeless people due to the rising costs of both living in a home and then the insurance costs as well. So that we are having a large percentage of our elderly that are suddenly finding themselves homeless. So I'm really sure we should be giving aid to other countries. I think we should just keep it at home and start worrying about taking care of our own people with our own tax money. On October 1st, because of the floods in New York, the sea lions that live in Central Park in an exhibit there, they escaped into the city. So that was fun because they got all flooded out. And then Tropical Storm Philip is strengthening, but Rena has weakened. So we have one that's potentially turning into a hurricane, and the other one's really dying down. There was a 3.9 earthquake in Humboldt County, again, Northern California, a 5.3 in Sidadak in Indonesia, and a 4.5 in Qinghai, China. As far as volcanoes go, we added one to the list since last week, but guys, these numbers are still really, really high. We have 29 volcanoes actively erupting. They've been doing so for at least 3 weeks now. Let me run back real quick and check out. Since 9/17, when I checked it on 9/17. So that's a long time. You know, we're looking at almost a month of 29 volcanoes erupting. The most I've ever seen erupting on the planet at once is 30. So very interesting things happening there. Also, we have 35 showing minor activity. That also has been going on for weeks. That's even since the 10th. So that's definitely almost a month of 35 going. For our average on showing minor activity, that's way higher. Our average on minor activity is 21. So to have 35, that's really high. That's above for, all of 2022 that we saw. So both numbers really high. And then 31 showing unrest, that's still really, really high up there as far as it goes. That's spiking out all of the numbers. I guess 31 isn't bad on the unrest. That's pretty low. That's on our low scale. So that's not too bad. But the erupting and the minor activity has just been off the charts for weeks now. And as I mentioned, Camp Flagray is on that unrest list. So it's crazy. As far as wildfires in the United States, there are 237,891 acres actively burning right now. That's coming from 26 major fires. 2 of them are contained. Number 1 state on the list for active fires right now is Oregon with 126,828 acres burning. 12 fires. None of those have been contained. There's number 2 on the list is California with 47,564 acres burning. That's from 1 fire, and it is not contained. Louisiana is number 3 on the list still with 38,414 acres burning. That's coming from 2 major wildfires. Neither of those is contained. And then Arizona is number 4 on the list with 11,400 acres coming from 2 fires, and none of those are contained either. So there you go, guys. We will jump back into reading the Vergis novel next week. and get back on schedule, get back in the routine, back to life from prepper camp. But definitely wanted to share the experience because we didn't do the live podcast. Usually I have a podcast for you guys on from prepper camp. So there we go.
I just posted the Dirt Devil. So
did you?
Dust Devil.
The Dust Devil? Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat little thing. I like that. New York flooding, not so cool. I would not want to be wading through that flood water. Ew. Ew. No. Gross. So, yeah. Alrighty. Listen to Changing Earth audio drama. New episode coming out on the 5th. And then next week, we're back to the Virgis story. If you guys want to hit me up for a seminar, please do so. I will have those videos posted next week, tentatively. We're never rushing things over here, so we're just kind of chill. So tentatively next week for those videos getting up. And then, of course, you know where to find the store to get your Changing Earth novels over at changingearthseries.com. All right, thanks, guys, for listening. I hope to see you next year at Prepper Camp, and of course next week on the show, listening to the show. So until next time, remember: dream,
survive,
thrive.
Thank you for joining Sarah and Chen for this episode of the Changing Earth podcast. Don't forget to pick up your copy of Day After Disaster, Without Land, The Walls of Freedom, Battle for the South, Dark Days in Denver, and The Endless Night at www.authorsarahfhathaway.com. If you love the Changing Earth series and podcast, become a supporter while you're there.